Good evening, rockers. Vegas Rock Goddess here on the rocks. New background, New Year 2026. Tonight, Cyanide, Rob Hussey. We're going to talk to him. He's a local from Las Vegas, has a great band, original band. So let's get him in and get the party started. Hello.
Hello.
I feel like we're here talking.
We were like 5 minutes ago.
It seems like it was 5 minutes ago.
I know.
So hey, let's get started with this. Your band is amazing. I watched that video. We're gonna talk about the video. But first, what I want you to do, Rob, is I want you to tell the viewers a little bit about your band and how long you guys have been together, when you guys started recording.
All right. I put Cyanide together. Okay, here's how it went down. I was in an Iron Maiden tribute band with this gentleman named Mark Mersal, and we were at his house in 2010 running through some Iron Maiden songs. And I happened to play him a demo I had made of the song Nikki Six in Disguise. And he was like, "Holy shit, you made that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, check this out." And so he had a song, and I was like, "Wow, that's a great song. Maybe we should record some stuff together." We said we had no plans of starting a band or anything like that, but once we had like 5 songs, we said to each other, let's just make a whole album just for us. We're not even going to put it out. We're not going to put together a band. And so we made the whole record, just him and I, me on drums and vocals, him on lead guitar and bass. And we finished that record. And then we looked at each other and said, what a shame it would be if we didn't go play these songs live on a stage somewhere. So this is in like 2013 now. It took us a while to record the record. And so in 2013, Cyanide played their first gig. Um, and we were playing songs live off that record, even though it wasn't out yet. We were opening up for like LA Guns and Rough Cut and Trickster, Loudness, Crocus, all these cool bands that were coming through Counts Vamped. And we were playing original songs that nobody had heard before, and people were responding and singing along after the first chorus. And so we put that record out in 2015, and it did very well. I mean, we played shows for 4 years off that record. And while we were playing all these shows in 2016, I started writing for the new Cyanide album, and Fireball was the first song that I wrote, mainly because we had opened for a few heavier acts like Doro Pesh and Grim Reaper. And once we got out there, I realized we don't have really any metal on this record. It's a party album, it's a Sunset Strip party album. That's what we wanted to put out, and that's what we put out. But for the second record, I said to myself, I need some heavier stuff. I need to bring out my Metallica and my Iron Maiden and my Judas Priest influences. And so that's where Fireball kind of came from. And then from there is when I decided, okay, so Cyanide effectively broke up in 2019. Um, Members had taken some time off to start a family, and we had a change in bass player and drummer. And, I think about 2019, it had run its course. And, Mark had and his wife had a baby, and they were busy. And he said to me one day that he was leaving the band because he didn't want to become the weak link. Uh, the one that can't be depended on to be there, all because it was just him and I.
Right.
And so that was a crushing day for me. And, I really didn't know what I was going to do. But then sometime later in the year 2019, I had decided, well, screw it, I'm just going to make this record anyway, you know? And so I got some people together, and in February of 2020, we went into the studio and had one day of recording the new record, and then the world shut down. And so that effectively ended any of that business, as far as getting that record out in a timely manner. Um, I then went into this, couple years long, deep, dark depression. Um, and that's where some of these dark songs came from that are on this record. And at some point during that 3 year stretch where I wasn't doing anything musically from 2020 to, I guess, really just till like, I don't know, the year 2021, I think, is the year where I didn't touch an instrument for like 12 months. I was that depressed. I was that bad off. And I didn't think I was going to do it again. And then I started writing, and, the songs just started flowing like nobody's business. And I had never written alone before. I always had a songwriting partner. And so for me, the challenge was, can I even do this? Can I write an entire album alone? And will it be good? And so that became my challenge, like, just to prove to myself that I can do this. And plus, there was nobody around. So, like, I really didn't have a choice, you know?
Right.
And so, and so I started writing, and all these songs just started coming out, and I was making demos of them. And then fast forward to August of 22, I finally went into the studio to record the record. And this time I went into the studio alone, um, without any bandmates. Jason Constantine was my producer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went in there and cut the drum tracks, bass guitar tracks, rhythm guitar tracks. And then during COVID, when I was at home and that Ozzy put out that record, Personality Number Nine, Patient Number Nine, sorry. Um, and I noticed on there he had a bunch of special guest guitar players. He didn't have a band anymore. And so that kind of inspired me, because I also didn't have a band anymore at that time. And so I thought, well, fuck, I'll just get, a bunch of amazing guitar players, and we'll do this. Well, who am I going to get? And so I knew Oz Fox a little bit. We had done a few
He's
shows
a
together.
great guy.
Great guy. And so I messaged him and said, "Hey, would you consider this?" And he said, "Absolutely." And so he played on two songs. And then Jason called up Jeff Duncan and said, "Would you come play on Rob's record?" And he said, "Absolutely." And he came down and played on a bunch of stuff. Um, he took that ballad "Never Let Me Go" and just elevated it into something amazing. And that's really how it went. From there, I just asked people I knew that were friends. John Zito, Jeremy Vario's on the album a bunch, Keith Roberts on 3 songs. And so, bringing Keith Robert into the studio was just amazing, just to watch him work. He walks in and it's like 25-year-old Ace Frehley just walked in. He's just got the whole thing going. And then the smoke starts coming out of his guitar, literally just from his playing. And so yeah, that took a little bit of time. I was recording that album with Jason for about 2 years. We were just about finished. We were 3 songs away from being finished, and Jason told me that he had to leave the project. He couldn't continue. And that was a scary time, because now I'm thinking, wow, what's really going to happen to this record, man? It's already been through so much. And then my friend Mike Floros from the band Steel City saw what I was going through and messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm working with this guy named Ty Sims. I think you should send him your stuff and have a conversation with him and see if he's interested." And so I did, and he was interested. And the first question he asked me was, "What do you want your record to sound like?" And, this is something Jason and I had been butting heads over, and maybe one of the reasons why he left the project is because I had a very clear idea of wanting to marry the the sonic aspects of the Metallica Black album and the Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood album and the Motley Crue John Corabi album. I was always just a big fan of Bob Rock's production on those albums. And so I told this to the new producer and he just said, "Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can do that." Like it was nothing, you know. And he absolutely delivered that. I mean, and so from there, we just had to basically start over, not from scratch, but we had to redo the drum tracks. We ended up redoing those a couple of times, which ended up being a luxury for me because I had laid down some drum tracks that I wasn't crazy about. And suddenly I had a chance to fix that. You don't often get that chance.
Right?
Usually you just have to go with what you laid down. And so I redid all the drum tracks. I redid some of the vocals. I rewrote some lyrics for a couple of the songs. I feel like that experience helped make everything better. And then Ty Sims on top of that with his production skills, just man, he really delivered a high quality Bob Rock level production
You
on that
know,
record.
when I was watching that video, you've got the guitarist from Velvet Chains playing for you now.
Yes. Lahi Cassiano. I
Let
actually
me
played.
tell you something.
Please
Let
do.
me tell you something about this guy. You are one of the luckiest mofos in Vegas
I
because
know.
that guy is one of the hottest guitar players in town.
Yeah. In the world, as far as I'm
He
concerned.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I
Him and
mean,
his brother.
yes, I've been photographing him since the beginning,
Yeah.
and he is amazing, Rob.
You know,
Amazing.
it's funny because I was paired up with him and his brother back in 2019 at Kiss Night in Las Vegas, the charity event that we went.
Right.
And I was put into this band that had the Cassiano brothers in it. And we were to do 3 Kiss songs together. And we instantly bonded over our love for Kiss and the attention to detail that we both have for Kiss, that we all three have for Kiss. Basically, just 3 Kiss nerds just going ape shit over each other in the room while we were rehearsing. And so, I kind of made a note in my head at that time that if I ever needed guitar players, I was going to call those guys, you know.
Yeah,
And
I mean, good on it because let me tell you something. Like I said, again, Jeff Duncan is amazing.
mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Amazing guitar player. We already know this.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you something. Cassiano brothers, unbelievable.
Well, check it out. The Cassiano brothers play dual lead guitars in the Iron Maiden band. They play lead guitar and bass guitar in the Motley Crue and Poison bands. I mean, they can do anything musically. They've got great vocals, great stage presence, and they're just generally great guys to be around and be in a band. And
Yeah, because you got some powerhouse band members, Rob. So that's great because you got a great sound. The video was really amazing. Who directed that video?
a gentleman by the name of Adrian Leon, who, he's got some movies out on Netflix, or not on Netflix, on Amazon. Um, he's a guy that I worked with over 20 years ago when he was just starting out in the music video business. He had been in network TV. He wanted to do something different. I saw it was MySpace days, you know. I
Oh,
saw
geez.
I saw his post that said he was looking to get into making music videos. Is there any band out there that would like to have a free music video? And I had a band called Bloodshot at the time, a heavier band. And so he directed our video, Brothers in Blood. And, he did such a great job. And then he went on to do great things in the music business, working with, I think he's worked with Duran Duran and some really big names. And so, you know, when I was desperately in need of a high quality music video director, we had become aware of each other again through Facebook, through Corey Coker. because
Right.
she was also friends with him. And so I saw him responding to one of her posts one day, and I'm like, Adrian, what's going on? It's been like 20 years, and so from there we just talked occasionally, and then I asked him one day, dude, I really need someone to direct this video. Would you be interested? And he said yes. And so now we're going to do probably 3 or 4 more music videos.
Nice.
I really want to work this album for like 2 years.
Right, because you worked so hard on it, Rob.
Yes. Yes. And I'm already planning the third record. And now that it's just me writing, I know that there's no chance that it's going to take 10 years again to get a new album out, because
Right.
I'm already planning it now, because I want it to be like, if 21 Gun Salute came out in 2025, I don't want it to be past 2028 when the new record comes out. And
Well, I mean
sooner.
that's a good plan.
Yeah.
But you guys have been playing a lot of shows in town. You've been playing the Tuscany a lot.
Yeah. Thank God.
Tell us a little bit about that venue and how you like playing there.
Man, when Counts Vamped closed and we were all devastated
We're
here,
still
we're
devastated,
still
Rob.
devastated. And it wasn't just the bands, it was everybody that loved that place. We were all equally devastated. And the bands, suddenly had, where are we gonna go? Is anyone gonna have us? Will we ever be able to reach that level again?
Yeah.
And so the Tuscany just came into my life at precisely the right time that I needed it. And Grayson is the guy that I spoke to over there. And you know I asked him if he would allow me to book Cyanide as the opening act for our tribute bands, and he said yes. And so I just thought, this is perfect, because now the tribute bands can play like once every 3 months, but Cyanide can open all of the shows. And so we can really get tight and get experience of getting out there with this new lineup. And so thank you to the Tuscany for giving us a new home, and a place for everyone to gather on the weekends and enjoy this rock and roll. And we'll be there again this Saturday night. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's great because I noticed you guys are there a lot.
Yeah.
And, Vamped is just, everybody is still talking about it. I mean, I talked to bands in Nashville and they talk about it. I mean, it was that significant for everybody.
I mean, we've had a lot of great rock and roll clubs here over the years. Counts Vamped, I would have to say, is by far number one.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot, because there's been a lot of great ones, but you know, they just took it to another level with everything they did. And there's never going to be a day where I don't wake up in the morning and like, oh yeah, Counts Vamped is gone.
I know.
Like, you wake up and you've forgotten, and then suddenly it still sucks.
But Rob, you're keeping rock alive.
I'm
And
trying.
that's super super important. And I also think the fans of your band are also super super important too. Let's talk about how important the fans are to making your shows a success.
I'll tell you, when Cyanide was together previously and we were opening for all those big bands, we always had a big crowd because those bands were big. But on our own, we weren't necessarily going to fill up Counts Vamped. And so, and then I hadn't played any shows since 2019. And when I got ready to come back out in 2023, first I came back out with the Iron Maiden, because that's how I started before. I had the Iron Maiden, and then that caused people to care that Cyanide even existed. And so I figured, let me do it that way again. So I came out in 23 with the Iron Maiden while I was recording the record. And then I thought, well, everyone's always been telling me I have to do Motley Crue. And so I finally put that together. And all of this stuff, it resulted in Corey booking us for a 3 night stand in June at Counts Vamped, right before the closing, June 12th, 13th, and 14th. We had on the 12th, we had the Cyanide album release party where Cyanide just played for 3 hours on a Thursday night when there was usually not a lot of people there, and we had a packed house there. And then the next night, we did the Poison thing with Children of the Grave, and again, more people than Thursday night. And then Saturday, Red Hot came in there with High Priest, and it was sold out. There was a line going outside. They had to stop letting people in, and that was the first time that ever happened to me at Counts Fam.
Yeah. You
And
have a great following though, Rob. You have a
that's
really great following.
I do. And so that's kind of what I was getting in. Like those 3 nights, there was a group of people that were there for all 3 nights. And I've become close with all of them. And now they're just always at our shows, and we hang out and we talk about stuff. And, it's really just turning into something.
Yes.
It's definitely something I didn't have before when the first incarnation of Cyanide was going. This
Right.
time we've got real dedicated fans that know the words to the songs, and they're into it, I think, as much as I am. And
Right.
I love them so much, for not just for packing Counts Vamp 3 nights in a row, but for continuing.
Right. I mean, how important, Rob, do you think engagement is on social media with your fans?
It's it's everything. It's kind of like if a lead singer isn't going to be engaging with the audience that he's looking at while he's singing, because I think I used to do that. I used to have like a karaoke singer complex, almost, where I'm afraid to look the audience in the eye. So I noticed in a lot of my old videos, I'm looking anywhere but at the
I think
crowd.
I might have seen one of your shows
Yeah. And
in the
so
beginning.
when I came back out to do this again, Melissa said to me, you have to engage with the audience. And so I started doing that live, and it brought huge results. And I definitely started doing it on social media, also brings huge results, because that's kind of how we get to know each other these days. And then
Right.
when we see each other out at the shows, we already know each other. It's
Yeah,
cool.
because word of mouth is one of the best forms of advertising.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have been, you know, the whole gang that comes out, they help so much making other people aware. As they make new friends, they say, "Hey, you got to come with us to check these bands out." And then it just keeps growing. And so, hopefully that will continue, and eventually we'll just, always have a line going out the door. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
goal.
I still love bootleggers as well, though.
Oh gosh, love bootleggers.
I wish they would do some more shows there.
I know. I know. I'm sure Corey does too. I'm sure she wishes, because she went from having 4 weekends every month to book all these shows, and now it's like one weekend, maybe sometimes not even every month, and so she's not able to book all the bands she wants to. I'm sure, and so that's got to be hard. And but yeah, I went to her events at the Copa Room at the Bootlegger, and um, just a great place to watch a show.
Yeah.
I look forward to playing there when it's possible.
Yeah. I think Ron Mancuso is the owner of that place, I think.
Yeah, I believe
Um,
so.
I've seen quite a few bands there. Pat Travers, Eric Martin was there. I've seen every show that they've had there. So that also is a really great venue.
It is. I mean,
But you guys need to play backstage bar and billiards too.
I love to. It's the logistics of it. Like we've kind of got a thing going now where we've got a really good thing going now, and in order to play there, um, you know, there's some things that would have to be worked out.
Oh,
It's not as easy as it seems, but I sure would love to work that out and make that happen.
Yeah, because that's a great venue too. Ava Berman and Carlos Berman, two amazing
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
um, that are really keeping the music alive here in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Hats off to them because they've been doing it a long time too.
Yeah.
And
But so what are your plans for this band, Rob, in 2026?
so right now we're just gonna keep making music videos. We're gonna shoot a video for Get Up and Dance this Saturday night, some crowd footage, and then we'll have a separate shoot later where we do some other stuff. And so hopefully we'll get that video out in March. The Slip and Slide video was supposed to come out January 1st, but Vivo and YouTube and DistroKid kind of just botched that whole thing and they were all blaming each other. But the final result was my video wasn't out on January 1st. It just came out like a couple days ago
Yeah.
after I had spent a whole month promoting January 1st. So, you know, I want to have a video like every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good amount of time.
And I would like Cyanide to keep doing what they're doing and playing every show they can get, whether it's opening for one of our tribute bands or it's jumping on another show. I really want, I love singing in the tribute bands, but at the end of the day, I do it because it enables me to play original music.
Right.
Yeah. Not that, I mean, I would sing those songs anyway in my car, which is
Right.
why I chose. It's why I chose
Right.
the bands I chose to tribute because I was already doing that anyway. Now I'm just doing it in front of people. So,
Right.
um,
But like the main component, I know we kind of were going a little back and forth with the subject
mm,
prior to you coming on. But the whole thing of this is Rob, there's a difference between a tribute band and a cover band.
absolutely, yeah,
Okay? We're both in agreement with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you if you want to just go up there and play the songs and not even try to even give a nod to the look that band has or anything else about them, it's a cover band, and those bands are useful too. People like to go see those bands. I myself prefer to, like with the Iron Maiden. I we don't look exactly like Iron Maiden. Bruce doesn't have long hair anymore, but I'm always gonna have long hair, and so. Except every time I quit playing music and then I cut my hair and then I have to grow it back.
But I mean, you got some great tribute bands too, you
Thank
know. And this town is full of tribute bands, at this point. And that was the point I was trying to make with you. Um Us rockers are hungry for original music bands.
Thank. Yep.
And
Same.
that's what the fans want to see. I mean, how many times, Rob, can we hear Paradise City done in 40 different languages?
I would prefer not to.
Right.
There's certain songs that I've heard so many times now that I would prefer not to. And then I remember we're lucky that those songs are as popular as they are because
Yeah.
it's because of songs like that people still come out and support any of this. So
Yeah, which is
I just,
great,
yeah, I
but
try to remind myself as I sing Run to the Hills for the 1 millionth time, you know,
right, which is a great song by Iron Maiden. We know
it's
that.
so
We
great.
love that
It's
song.
so great.
But, I think the whole thing in 2026 is to keep rock alive.
Yeah.
And I think the only way that we're going to do that, Rob, is to have original music bands out there grinding.
Like the Far Worst, who just
Yes.
released a brand new album. Let's hear it
Yes.
for the Far
What
Worst.
unbelievable. Bree and Jake,
Yeah,
let me tell you something. That band is incredible.
they are. And
If
I'm
our
so
viewers
glad.
haven't seen and they live in Vegas and they haven't seen the Far Worst, you better go because this band is going
Oh,
to be taking off soon.
you better right now.
I know.
Go find them on Spotify and play all their stuff. And us
Yeah,
too.
exactly. And you too, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I think, doing these shows is cool, but what I really dream about is a day where we could take a band like us, Cyanide and the Far Worst, and you know, Chaos Bender or some other awesome local band, and do shows together, and there's actually a lot of people there,
Yes.
you know,
You
without
know,
any of the cover things going on, just
right.
three original bands kicking ass,
Yeah.
and
Because,
it,
like I said, that's what the viewers want to see.
yeah,
They want original music bands. And, that's why I'm very strict when it comes to interviewing certain people. But we have a good rapport, Rob, and I respect what you do and you respect what I do. So
absolutely.
yeah, so there's a happy medium, and that's why I wanted you to come on. Because there are young bands out there that are struggling, that are looking to look up to some band like yours.
And these shows are all ages. The shows at the Tuscany are all ages. The show we did at the House of Blues Saturday was all ages. There was so many kids in the audience losing their minds when
I
we,
know.
and I was just so happy, because they weren't just standing there watching a band. I mean, they were having a religious experience like I had when I was 12,
Right.
you know.
That's the future generation of rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Are those young people that
Yeah, it
are
won't
coming
survive
to your
without it.
shows.
Yeah. So thank God, for the House of Blues and the Tuscany for having these all ages shows. You can bring your kids to see us now.
Yeah.
Please do. Bring
And
all of
and
them. Have
and
more
that's
kids. Bring them.
right. And that's another way for us to keep rock alive. Is it to open it up to other people
We
other
need
than over 21?
we need every metal fan out there that's currently a parent to have a few more kids and also turn them into metalheads. That's how we
Right.
get there. We can do this.
We can.
Yeah.
And you are, Rob.
I am doing it.
You are doing it. I mean, hey, let's talk about your room. We didn't really get a chance to talk about your room when we did the year-end show. You've got some incredible Kiss memorabilia
I,
back there.
when I started writing this new Cyanide album, the first thing I decided was there's going to be some heavy metal on this record. It wasn't just going to be all party songs. And so it's half and half. It's half metal, half party, couple ballads. Perfect balance as far as I'm concerned.
Right?
But before I started writing, or before I started writing anything good, I was in here and the studio was bare. And what can I do to inspire myself? And I said, well, I know I'm going to make this room, my studio, look like my bedroom when I was 15, because
Nice.
that kid sat in his room playing his guitar with no agenda and only listening to all this heavy metal, and a song would come on the radio he hadn't heard before, and he'd jump on his bike and ride his bike to the record store and buy the album. And so I wanted a room that was going to make me feel like that kid, so that I could write those kind of songs that would impress that kid. And
Yeah.
and
That's
so
your
that
inspiration.
yeah, and that was the whole plan behind decorating the studio like this, is just, you know, I want to feel like a 15-year-old kid when I come in here so I can write those kind of songs.
Yeah. I mean, inspiration is really important in rock and roll. I
It
mean, we
works.
all have our, favorites, and like what is your goal for 2026, Rob? I know we kind of talked a little bit about this on the year-end show, but uh like what is your big ultimate goal for 26?
Aside from making sure I get all of the music videos made, I want to. It would be awesome if at some point during this year, Cyanide became a local band that could headline any show they were playing, and not just opening for our tribute bands or
Right?
other bands. So that's probably my main goal, is seeing if we can make that happen. It would be awesome at some point if Cyanide became so busy that we we didn't have time to do these tribute bands.
Oh yeah,
Then
it'd
that
be
was just
amazing.
that would be the occasional thing for fun, and then Cyanide would be like the main crux of it. And so that, I guess that would be the goal, is somehow seeing if we can't make that happen.
Yes, that's a great goal, Rob. And of course, playing more shows, playing the House of Blues again, which was an amazing show for you.
Great show, great. I still can't believe how many people showed up, and we went on first. And I there's a lot of times I've been to shows there where everyone's not there yet when the first band's playing.
Yeah.
It's people are filling in as it's happening. And like this particular night, there was a giant line to get in before we even started. And so that's how we when we saw that line out there, is like, oh wow, this is going to be a really good night.
Yeah.
And then we came out and it was just packed, like all the way up to the the rafters upstairs.
And that's great, because
Yeah.
that's the kind of exposure you guys need.
It is. It is.
Well, before I let you go, Rob, why don't you tell the viewers all your websites, socials, so they can get all their information on Cyanide?
Outstanding. Our official website is cyaniderocks.com, ROCKS, not ROXX. Cyaniderocks.com. On that website is everything that has to do with Cyanide. And then also each tribute band has its own page on there as well. So everything's in one place. All of the links to our socials and our streaming sites and YouTube, everything is all there in one place, right there on the front page. The first thing you see when you land on the website is all of the links where you can go to Instagram, Twitter, or not Twitter, X, TikTok, YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon. My gosh, there's so many now.
Now, do you handle all the socials, Rob, for your bands?
I do. I actually, I'm acting manager, booking agent, stage manager.
Wow.
I put together the stage. I do everything because it's what I love to do.
Right.
It's kind of what I've always done. And I also like to make things easier for the rest of the band so that they can just worry about the music.
Exactly. Exactly.
A lot of this other stuff many times becomes nonsense to deal with, And so,
right.
I take that on, and I'm happy to do it. And I've been blessed to have, the great band members that we have now in all the tribute bands, but also in Cyanide.
Yes,
you've got a really strong lineup now.
You do. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys out. My schedule has been so tight. It's been hard for me to get out to some of these shows, so bear with me. I'm sure at some point you will see me. But thanks a lot, Rob, for coming on. We will definitely keep in touch. Your band is amazing.
Thank you.
And people have to come out and see it live, because you are definitely a powerhouse on stage.
Hey, come out Saturday to the Tuscany. Cyanide hits the stage at 10 p.m. sharp. It's not a ploy or anything. The show starts at 10 p.m., doors at 9:45. Cyanide's going to open with the song that we're filming a video for. So if you're there for the opening song and you're down in front of the stage doing what you should be doing, which is putting your fist in the
Well, that's going to be kind of hard, Rob, for me, because I'm going to have a camera in my hand and I'm going to be doing pictures. And
you can have that and you'll be in the video. Just be down front having a good time. Don't be in the back sitting down.
Well, have I ever sat down at a show, Rob?
No, not you. I'm speaking to the people that are
okay.
I want them all to be in the video, and I don't want the video to come out and people to see it and go, oh man, I should have stood up and
man, exactly. Well, take care, Rob. Keep this music alive, my friend. We have to.
I will never stop.
And we'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Talk to you later. Okay, Rob Hussey, Cyanide. Great local band right here in Las Vegas. They are playing the Tuscany this Saturday night. So if you're in the area and you want to see an amazing original rock band, definitely check them out. This is the Vegas Rock Goddess. Always like and subscribe to On the Rocks because you never know who I will be interviewing next.